Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are, or whenever you're watching this episode. My name is Sudhamani. I'm the host of Expert Interview Show. Today, I've got another great expert to enlighten you, mostly women. And I think this is for both men and women, men in your life as a woman as well, because they need to know. I've got a good friend who is also a champion. Uh, anyway, uh, Avril, I attended her workshop. I'll talk about it once I get her on. But let me talk a little bit about Avril, read out the bio which she's given me. Avril is a menopause champion with menopause experts. When she began to see changes in herself caused by the onset of menopause, she decided she wanted to know more and take back the control of her life, which she was able to do successfully through menopause experts. The training she received helped her understand the journey from perimenopause to menopause. If you have not heard about that term, she will explain that to you. She's now able to use her knowledge and experience to help other women in the same situation through workshops and support groups. She has spoken to many women who have suffered in silence due to the lack of education and awareness, but all women go through it. So, why do we know so little about it? In her workshops, she covers health, food, psychology, and sex, and more. You will learn about the benefits of mindfulness, explain the science behind menopause, and also dispel the myths and taboos around menopause. Before I get Avril on in the room, I would like you to subscribe and follow my YouTube or LinkedIn or Facebook. If this type of content resonates with you, I mainly talk about digital marketing, how you, as women entrepreneurs, you can leverage other people or experts' experience and get there a lot quicker. So now let me bring Avril and talk about menopause. Hi, Avril. Thanks for
Hi.
coming.
Hi. Lovely to be with you.
Oh, it was. I wanted to cover. Tell us a little bit about what who you are, apart from what I've read in the bio. I know a
Yes,
little bit about you, but I don't know much.
certainly. I'm in my late 40s. I'm coming up 47 now. Age is creeping in.
Oh,
Um,
you're not younger than me. Don't you worry.
I have four lovely children, from the age of 21 all the way down to five. So my
Oh,
eldest is 21, and then I've got my daughter who's coming up 17, my other son Ryan, he's 14, and then the little one Alex, he is 5. Alex is autistic and he's non-verbal. So it's a very busy household. My eldest son is ADHD as well. So yeah,
oh, okay. That's
household.
a very challenging household as well, isn't it? It's
It is.
really this is I can understand. I don't have big family like you. I can understand even without menopause's symptoms creeping up in our life in during this period, there are other things which goes in your head as well. As a woman entrepreneur, you're also a graphic designer with menopause
I am, yes,
education.
graphic
Oh
designer
yeah,
for
that's
menopause
another
experts.
thing. You've got to manage work, you've got to manage house, you've got to look the part. I say all the time, even though people don't expect you to be perfect, but you have to look perfect just to keep going. And then you've got this confusion. Why is certain things not happening? I was able to do this 2 months ago, 3 months ago, or 2 years ago. Why am I not able to do this? All of these things go in your head. So tell us a little bit of how did it catch in my experience when I saw this workshop advertised on Facebook in one of the groups which we are in. When I saw this, immediately I said, "Oh, I need to." The reason was because one of my colleague mentioned it to me. She said, "Maybe you've got symptoms of menopause. Maybe you're going through menopause." And I said, "No, I'm all right." She said, "No, sometimes it starts in late 30s as well. So it doesn't matter. Just go and have a thing." I am one of those people. I need to understand why certain things are happening. My mom had a very bad perimenopause and menopause. And I wanted to know, I didn't want to, but I spoke to my sister and she said, she calls me Akka, means in Tamil. Akka means is in English, it's sister, big sister. And
Ah,
she said to me, "I thought you would have finished." And I was like, "No, no, 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 it hasn't even started." That was two weeks before I attended your workshop. When I attended the workshop, it was eye opening. I am one of those people who I said I'm not going to go on HRT. I am going to go through this naturally. So that the experience is like growing gracefully. That's the term I use because we need to carry ourselves um, in a graceful manner. And that's when I found out about your workshop. Your workshop was amazing. Food was good as well. Like that was a bonus. Yeah,
and it was all menopause friendly.
it was. It was. And I made friends in that group, and also learned quite a lot. So tell us a little bit about what menopause experts. That's why I wanted you on the show to talk about who are menopause experts,
Yeah.
what do they do, and where can we go to find more details?
Yeah, certainly. So just to like my background, it was actually during lockdown when I started noticing changes. And as I've explained, living in the busy household with ADHD children, autistic child, I wasn't coping with my mental health, and I just started seeing a pattern. So what
Mm.
I did is I did a daily diary, which is very important. I say that to all the ladies that come to the workshops is keep a daily diary because it's important to see the pattern. And there was a definite pattern happening. And this is when I started investigating more about perimenopause. It was a friend that suggested I was going through perimenopause when I gave her a wee list of symptoms. So it wasn't just like what was happening in my mind. It was I noticed a difference in my skin. Um, I had like yep, I have a lot of joints, pains in my joints, and yeah, and then noticed the night sweats. So it's when it started getting night sweats. That's when I thought there's more to this, and I started to investigate all about perimenopause, and that's when I came across menopause experts. They're a fantastic company. We're a global company, and what we're doing is we're educating. So it's for people that have their own business, small businesses, or like you can be doctors, it can be personal trainers, hairdressers, anybody that wants to then take the education of menopause and help basically educating other people and helping people understand about perimenopause, menopause, and postmenopause, and ways that we can look at holistically, um, like helping with symptoms.
Mm-hmm.
Not a lot of people will go down the route of HRT. It doesn't suit, and obviously you've got the scare with cancer and everything. There's a lot of
The
press
side
outside.
effects are not worth it, isn't it? Side effects are not
Well,
worth
that's
it.
right. Everybody's perimenopause, menopause, they're all different. Everyone's
Mm.
unique, and every lady as well will experience different side effects. But there's ladies out there that just, they don't want to go down the HRT route. So
Hmm.
they'll look at other approaches holistically. And so that's where we come on, is just educating on ways that we can help alleviate some of the symptoms. Um, some women go on HRT. I'm on HRT personally. That was my choice and it has helped. It's not a magic pill where you think, oh, overnight everything's going to change. Not at all. You have to change your lifestyle, and this is what I found, and it really does help. So I started with the mindset first of all as well. So meditating was really good. Taking
Hmm.
time for myself, living in a busy household with challenging behaviour, I had to find time for myself. So meditation really helped with that.
Yes.
Um, I increased my exercise and that helped as well. So even just getting out with my dog, I have a French bulldog, and it's not keen for walking,
Oh, bless
but we do try 3 walks a day. Um, he sits with this glare in his eyes. Not again, mummy. But yeah, just to get out, get fresh air. It does a world of good, and increasing drinking water. Fluids, that's helped with my skin because I was suffering really from dry skin,
Okay.
all due to
This is
dehydration.
I understand drinking water helps
Yeah,
and all of that. People, I for one, um, my cousin is doctor for a GP, and his wife is GP, and I've got few GPs dotted around and surgeons in the family. Not many of them had this type of awareness I got from your workshop. What
yeah,
is the difference? Why people immediately think when there is bodily changes, you immediately think you need to go to your GP and consult with them, but the information you get of the GP is not. I'm not saying they don't know about it. I'm saying that awareness is not coming from GP. They're not giving us the full length of what you taught us in the workshop.
yeah,
So how do we think this as a person who is on an onset of perimenopause or on onset of menopause itself during that 1 year period, and also go forward in postmenopausal stage? How do we take us from um, how do we understand these symptoms and
yeah,
grow gracefully?
yeah. I do have like a symptom checker because you'd be very surprised at just how many different symptoms you can get from
That
perimenopause.
was eye opener.
Yeah, massive. Um, So yeah, with skin, it's a decrease in estrogen. So as you're going through perimenopause and leading up to menopause to postmenopause, it's where your hormones are changing and your estrogen um, and your progesterone, everything's declining.
Hmm.
So yeah, getting more water intake has helped me not only with my skin, but I suffered from fatigue, and I don't know if it was just because of we were in lockdown, so you weren't getting out, you weren't getting that fresh air, and I was so tired. The children would come in and I'd be sleeping on the couch. So increasing my water intake, that really helped as well, and it gave me that energy. Um,
Hmm.
and another thing is like introducing phytoestrogens into your diet.
Okay.
So this is plant
That's
based.
where the diet part come into in
That's
the
right.
workshop. Yes.
Yeah, and I cover a lot of this in the workshop because I
Mhm.
do believe you are what you eat, and
Yes.
your gut is your second brain. So
Yes,
you
it is.
really should look at what you are eating. I always say eat the rainbow, um, which yep, getting your healthy greens, and your salads and everything, but lentils, pulses, nuts, all this is putting back the estrogens. And if you're not going on HRT or anything, then there is ways of getting some of that estrogen back, and that's like through eating like your
Yeah.
lentils, pulses. Yeah,
Yeah, that's you also talked about in the workshop. You also talked about the holistic practices like Reiki or going for massages and getting those type of relaxation tech. If I could get the words out, those type of relaxation techniques which we can go through as we go, make a point that we do when we are younger. We may not go through that
yeah.
many massages or other things, but as we grow older we need to take more of that. So on that thing, where can we download your symptom checker, or can you would you be able to give me,
I
I
can
can
share that
or
with you. Yeah, I can share the symptom checker.
yeah.
Um, I was just going to say there when you're talking about meditation, Reiki, and everything, it's very important to make time for yourself. The brain is very powerful,
Yes.
and when I was in lockdown and had all these different thoughts going through my head, um, and the more I was thinking about it, the more these symptoms were displaying. So I was taking back control by changing my mindset. So I was learning all about perimenopause, and I was like, "Oh, I've got that symptom. Oh, I've got this symptom." And I was ticking off, and I really was.
Oh,
Um,
that symptom checker was eye opener again. When I did it, is
yeah,
just I didn't even think I was. People kept saying you've got depression. I refuse to listen to depression story. The reason is everyone goes through depression in their own form, but this was not as strong as depression symptoms, in
yeah,
my opinion, at least. So I didn't want to go into any medicines to overcount. When I came to your workshop, and I was like, oh my god, I've been going through perimenopause symptoms. No. So me being myself, that I am not very good with medicine, so I don't take medicines. I don't want to get into habit of medicine. Whereas some people, they might have gone through that route. I'm not saying please don't take this into account, that I'm not saying you don't have to see the doctor, don't have to get the checkup. That's not my point here. My point is, try out other, if you're in during this age group,
yeah.
try these things out first before getting into real serious element of getting some medicines to tackle um, your symptoms.
The symptom.
So
That's where mindset is so important. If you can change your mindset, that it, it's night and day. It
yeah,
really can change because your brain
in
is so.
your workshop, when we were going through that, and you gave us a very good um, portion of the cream. You mentioned started seeing changes in your skin. I was like oily. If you could put 2 cups on my jaws, it will fill up in an hour. That was my skin. I had a very oily skin.
Yeah.
But the very first thing I noticed was dryness of the skin.
Hmm.
The reason I thought, oh, it could be because of the weather, but it's not. It becomes really scaly. But the portion, what I'm coming at is, like, I do talk a lot. What I'm coming at is the cream you helped us, or your friend
Yeah, for the
with the,
meditation.
yeah, for the meditation and to relax yourself, and also to put it on your body if that's what you needed. And that was really very powerful as well, like it gets you in the zone.
Absolutely.
So is that part of the workshop, or is it was just because your friend was available?
So my friend was available to do that, but I am looking at doing different So my next workshop, we're going to be looking at yoga for menopause. So it's yoga exercises that really help with our breathing as
That
people
would be
go through
good.
perimenopause. So yeah, different things. We've got MenoChef as well. So that'll be quite a fun and exciting workship
Oh,
where
yes,
we'll
it
actually
would be.
be cooking, but learning all about the phytoestrogens and how we can put this back in our diet.
Yeah.
With lots of menopause friendly recipes. So I think that'll be really good as
Oh,
well.
that'll be great. That'll be good.
Yeah, we're
Um,
just trying to engage and educate, but make it fun at the same time. But it's like the menopause yoga is really good for our breathing, and again, that takes back to your meditation, taking time for yourself,
yeah,
learning to breathe, learning to recognize your body. And so when you are having stressful moments, a lot of the ladies' anxiety is through the roof to the point they won't even drive.
yeah,
This is all down to perimenopause. So it's teaching ways of just taking that control, learning the breathing, and understand that it's not like some people think they're having a heart attack with heart palpitations, but actually it's all to do with the perimenopause and the anxiety. It's all to do with the hormones and the decrease in hormones. So it's
yeah,
to understand your body, to understand that what you're going through is down to your perimenopause, and just taking back control. Breathing
hmm,
really helps. Um, yeah, so it's educating and learning all about your body.
yeah. It's
Different ways.
that awareness. Awareness is the key to the solution finding,
It's,
isn't it? It's unbelievable. I think the corporates or the employers have got to pay attention nowadays. They've got, what is that? It is experimental, a lot experimental at the moment, in European Council, or I don't know, in some of the organizations like financial organization, they are giving women the 3 day period, where they go through the monthly period cycle.
like,
They
yeah.
get off. I don't remember what that is called. I'll find out and put it in.
Mhm.
um, that period, that 3 day they can take off, it is considered as their normal holiday, and they are paid for that
Okay.
3 days, where they don't. I remember my sister, thankfully I didn't have that much, but lately, perimenopausal situation, that's when I feel really tired,
Yeah.
gone, and I can't think properly, brain fog and anxious. I don't want to go, and you don't know many things which are going in your body. And I think I don't want to be in the public transport, or if you don't have a car, that even heightens the thing. And this period, I think this is where I'm coming at, is employers have to know that these are the things women may go through, instead of pointing and, oh, they don't know what they're talking about, or it could be that time of the month. The flippant messages you get, like, oh, it could be that's why she's crying, drop of the hat. It's like,
Yeah.
it's not understand. Men has to understand that these are the stages which they are going through as well. That's where I towards the start of the episode, I was telling one of my friends, Satwinder Singh. He lives down south. He is champion for menopause experts, I think. He's been
Ah, what's
highlighted
his
in one of his book. Um,
name?
I'll tell you his name.
We
Um,
have a few men champions, which is fantastic.
yes,
Encouraging more. So yeah, and corporates is it's very important. Obviously, again, it's down to awareness. There's lots of companies out there, and they'll have their menopause policy, but we shouldn't just have a policy. What
yeah,
we try to do is get champions in the workplace so they can educate.
yeah,
Uh,
I think that is more important, because there are so many policies which, like, um mental health week or day, or it's not for a day, it's a lifestyle.
it is a lifestyle. It's
Go
changing.
through that. Maybe that's an awareness that triggers your brain, but you
Yeah,
you have to go through the whole year with these elements of it. Satwinder talks about, I started following him more closely after he talked about the menopause. What he's
Yeah.
got a daughter, son, and also his wife, and so he was talking about this, and I was like, what a nice person. You take, I'm not saying there are not men who doesn't understand. All I'm saying is they don't talk about it. I wanted to tell you the story. Please listen to this. I was in a networking meeting. This is what I want people to stop doing. I was in this networking meeting. I was talking about menopause, how people, this woman, I know her very well. And she was like, she's of same age as us. And she was frowning as if like I'm talking something which is a taboo in front of other people. And it's like, no, if you cannot voice it out, if you suppress it, other women are not going to talk about. This is one of the things which I feel that women do all the time. They don't want to talk about. It's, oh, it's a taboo. I mean, I can understand in India, we never used to go and get the pads. We won't ask our brothers or husbands to get the pads. We've got to go and get the pads, and all of that. It's hush, 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 hush. I mean, they need to know.
Yeah, we need to talk about it now. For many years, and like you were talking about your mum and what she went through, my mum didn't really talk about it. Unfortunately, she's no longer with us, so I can't go back and ask her all the questions I've got. But I do remember there was times where she would walk out that door and I'd think, is she coming back? And she used to go to the Chinese. There would be she would always look at Chinese medicines, and now I always realise that that's all down to her perimenopause, what she was going through. But it was all hush hush. There was times where you think her mental health,
Mhm.
um, but I can understand that now. Going through this myself, I can recognise what I'm going through and what my mum went through, even though she wouldn't talk about it. We're now, which is fantastic. We're putting our voice out there now. People are listening.
Yeah,
If this
I
works,
think so. You, as a mother, as a sister, as a grandmother, as an aunt, we have that responsibility to educate our nieces and nephews and daughters
yeah,
that they might come, that you will go through this, but handle it with grace rather
absolutely.
than
And I'd say that to my daughter because since I started
they laugh at you.
experts,
I'm not going to say they will laugh at you.
yeah, well, since I started menopause experts, I had designed the monthly magazine as well, which is fantastic. It's only to go on the information we put there in the different articles to help people with their symptoms holistically.
Uh-huh.
Um, Experiences, and we talk about corporates as well in the magazine. Anyway, my life is menopause now. I eat, breathe, sleep it, and my daughters and my family they they're with me.
I
Tell
remember
me,
seeing your sisters and cousin
yeah,
coming into that workshop and giving you a hand, and your daughter was amazing.
yeah.
She was with her friend as well. She could take so much, and then she left.
Well,
I
yeah, this is what I'm saying to Emily. I was saying, no, you're educated. We didn't have this. So I've came into perimenopause not knowing what was happening with my body, thinking that I was depressed, thinking I've had such intrusive thoughts I was having. I think lockdown didn't help because
Yeah,
we're so
that's
much.
I think we all blame. I went through the same period. I
Uh-huh,
blamed it on certain stressful situation I was going through,
yeah,
2017, 2018, and from 2019 onwards I had this going, but I didn't even know that. I only came to know in 2021 when I met you, and I didn't even realize that it could be. If not for my colleague, at that point I said, what a B word. She's pointing it out to me, but I am so grateful that she triggered my head
yeah,
in such a way, um, because I just wanted to prove her wrong,
yeah.
that
Okay.
it's
Uh-huh.
it's not that. But when I came, I was like, oh my God, This
I
is
know
what I'm going
my
through.
feelings when somebody mentioned the perimenopause, I was like, I'm too young. I'm not going through this. I'm only 46. And it's just like, well, at the time I was 44. I was like, it was like my hairdresser, it was Louise, and she was saying about perimenopause. I was like, no, no, I'm far too young. That's when you realise it can happen at any stage. Like for females, it can be in your 30s. And then to realise that it can go anything up to 10 years before like the menopause actually um, you move into menopause, perimenopause, anything up to 10 years. And that's when you get the shock and you're like, oh, well, I want to change my life. I've got to take back control here because if you're looking at this, how long this can take, then yeah, you've got to change things. Lifestyle has to change.
Yeah, it is a lifestyle change, so we need to be prepared for that lifestyle change as well.
Yeah,
Having the right kind of food, what we had in 20s and 30s cannot be the same in late 30s and 40s. So we need to have that change in. And people talk about it in a derogatory term of midlife crisis as well. So that's why that's another term I want to abolish if I
yeah,
had that right.
absolutely. You hear men saying, oh, it's just like going midlife crisis, or what was it? They had to change your life, or yeah. So we need to educate that, and I think this should be in sex education with children. So Emily should be educated in this as she was going through her high school.
Yes.
I think that is so important. At the end of the day, male, females, all females are going to go through this. The males, they go through their adolescent. So
Yeah,
that's
I think that is what that term is all about. Like they're going through the
yeah,
adolescence, or because they don't understand women's body, men go through in a different
yeah. Whereas
uh,
females,
or
we
maybe am I wrong or something wrong with me? She doesn't like me, and all of those thoughts go in their head as well. So they kind of stray away.
yeah,
It's not the right term to say, but they're trying to establish, they're trying to understand in their own way what
yeah,
is going wrong. Is this
yeah.
me or is that something else? So this is the elephant they need to tackle if they're going through that some kind of friction. It's
Uh-huh. No,
I
I
don't
was
know
saying
how
like
to.
females obviously will have like a period, and then from the period then we the perimenopause every female's going to go through that is what I was trying to explain there. And the males, they have like their voice breaks, you know, like when they're moving from adolescence up to adulthood. So they're going through their transition there, and the females, we have our periods, then we move on to the perimenopause and we've got menopause. So what our bodies go through, I think the males really need to understand a lot
Yeah.
more and a lot more understanding. But yeah, my husband, for instance, when I was going through it, he actually thought I was having an affair because my yeah, honestly, the libido
I'm
reaction.
not joking. I'm laughing because, oh my God, really? I think this is why the understanding is more important for men as well. Like they need to know. They cannot
Yeah,
make a rash decision that women is not interested in me, instead of like, oh, she's going through her own bodily changes. So
yeah,
I need to be a little bit more
understanding.
understanding, a little bit more. It's not me,
Yeah, yeah,
it's she's going through this and she's not having another affair.
yeah. And it's to understand that some of it is out of control. Like when what we're going through, we can't help it. Um,
Yep.
we can make changes to alleviate some of these symptoms, but that again down to education. It's all educating yourself, and you need to educate your partner. And I think it's so important communication. You've got to
Ye-
talk to each other and speak to them, tell them exactly what you're going through, how you're feeling. My
yes.
daily diary helped with that because I even put down
Yeah,
on it
journaling. That's one
journaling.
thing I have. I think that's more important. I'm going to create a journal for perimenopause women. Eh.
Yeah. Brilliant. Um,
Because it is more important. Yes, self care. Knowing about menopause is self care, in my opinion.
yeah.
um, Understanding, okay, this is what I'm going through, this is the symptoms I'm getting, I'm not taking any drastic thinking, oh, I have got a mental health challenges, or, I mean, I'm not saying you won't, but instead of going through the extreme, just strike the things which may be quite normal transition in our
Mhm.
age. So another thing which I wanted to ask you about is that, when you've got a support group, which I didn't manage to attend, but how do the one which I attended was face to face, like in
Yeah.
person. Do you do online workshops as well, or do you not?
I can do online workshops. I haven't actually done one. I've done face to face.
Okay,
But the support groups, it's the last day
it's online. Yeah.
of the month online, and that's free. And we have people all over the world that joins us on there, um, which was really good. So yeah, but it's something that I could look.
Think it would help. I mean, it's women, and we do. Everyone have. I don't have kids, but I understand kids and coming to a session. I mean, it is. It's like taking the day off for themselves. That's good as well in a way if they could do. But sometimes they think I would rather, if they are single mother and they don't have access to child support, they can attend online
Yeah,
workshop.
yeah. There is a lot to cover.
Yes.
We obviously we cover like the health of menopause, and then we look at your psychology of menopause. We're looking at our food, so there is a lot to cover. But I can bring. We could even do that over two sessions.
Yeah, that's I think that would be a lot easier, and logistically, I me being techie, I always favor the online one because I don't have to drive, I don't have to park, I don't have to do things, and you wouldn't believe I had to come straight back home on that day because I had friends visiting when I came to workshop. Otherwise, I would have gone to the shops, spent money. So I just came back home. That's really good. What before I let you go, I wanted to ask you one more thing about menopause, and then we'll go have fun questions.
No problem.
Two, three, one. So the question for me is, you said you raise awareness. You do workshops in offices and businesses, right?
I haven't done them personally, but I can. And my time's really taken up with family as well as
Yeah.
for mental
So
health.
if they
I would
want,
like to go down the corporate route, and I can, but I haven't done it as yet. And again, it's educating and getting like champions on board so that they can educate people in, like, say, human resources. Having somebody champion their company all on menopause, and they
yeah,
can
it's similar to first aiders
yeah,
training. They can have champions for menopause in there,
exactly, yeah,
and I mean they can even create an online course like as part of their induction and give it to all women.
yeah. I think
um,
for corporates as well is to be educated and then make allowances for people going through the menopause. So it can be their uniform. No, like when they're because I think you need to have clothes as well that you can breathe through, so cotton and stuff.
mm,
When women are suffering from hot flushes, um, have a fan at their desk, things like
yeah.
that. Making allowances, you're helping alleviate their symptoms. Um, and yeah, if they're having a bad day, why can't they work at home?
Yeah, I think working from home has become a lot more norm these days.
Yeah,
however, they need to consider that if they have to come to work on that day, if they are going through this, they can allowed
Uh,
sometimes to is
yeah.
to work.
And
I
even if
think,
they're in the office and like say they just need 10 minutes, 20 minutes just to maybe go and lie down. So again, there'll be somewhere for first aid for somebody if they have a migraine and can go lie down. Why can't they do that if they're going through that hormonal change at that moment through their menopause?
I
Just take
think the
time out
awareness
to
should
lie
be
down,
there.
dark room.
Definitely, awareness should be. You made that very good point that we need to start working because health and safety is more important, and people do have corporate responsibility. Businesses do have corporate responsibility to their staff, so they need to raise it. One of the things challenges which I face or I see, maybe I'm wrong. I'm not in the field as you. I'm not a first aider. I'm not doing any health education in organization. I feel private sectors then has to open up. I think we need private sector is still lagging behind, even
Yeah.
though they spend quite a lot of money in responsibility stuff, just like putting up the policy and doing things, not actioning it.
Exactly. I think they think they're covered by having a menopause policy,
Yeah,
but really they're not. Yeah, they need to educate their colleagues. They need
yeah,
to
they
educate their
should,
workforce.
and women should not feel. I worked in private sector. I worked in investment bank, financial institution. I feel it's a taboo, and it's also like you cannot talk about it. Just an example of going to a networking meeting. I talking to another woman, and she thinks she literally cringed, Avril, and I was like,
Yeah.
really?
Yeah. Imagine her at my workshops. When we're talking about sex, we're talking about vagina, astrophy, and everything like that. Um, yeah, it's everybody hiding behind it, and again, that's like the past, and that's what we need to change. More and more people
Yeah.
should be talking about it and not be afraid to talk about it.
Mhm.
Um, all females go through it.
I think as a female, we have come a long way from our mothers and from our aunts. We've come a long way. We do talk about boyfriends and sex and all of that among friends, a lot more open compared to what our mothers and
Yeah,
aunts would have done. But we do need to take the normal education instead of just the peripheral, the normal core education of being a woman
yeah,
into stride so that we don't have to we have got confident to ask for treat us as equal, if you know what I mean.
yeah,
If we don't understand our own body, if we don't understand our own transformation within happening within us, we won't have that confidence to ask others to treat us equal.
yeah. And there's some people as well that are a wee bit older, and they just think that why is there so much um, press out there just now, and everybody talking about the menopause, and like back in the day, they would just get on with it. That was life. Just get on with it. And some people sail through menopause. Fantastic. But majority of the people that I meet, they don't. There is a struggle. And it could be like what we're eating in our daily life now is completely different to when back when our
Yeah,
mums
that's true.
used
They didn't have the stress of working mothers. They didn't have stress of having young children. They had their children very young. So
yeah,
by the time they come to our stage, they're all grown up and they've got their own life. So they didn't have that much of impact in
that's
the
right.
family life. Whereas now we are even in late 40s and you early 40s you gave birth, and we do put things to later. We
Yeah,
give birth to
definitely.
babies and
There's a lot of women as well that who are going through that stage in their life. They're looking after their elder parents too, so they've got stress off that
yeah, the
as
stress
well.
in itself adds a
And
lot.
Yeah, it really does. Um, Stress is one of the main factors that your symptoms come out as well.
Yeah,
And like
it
your
projects in itself
yeah,
quite.
brain fog, anxiety, it can all be brought on by stress. So that's why mindfulness is so important, just to um like take back control,
Ooh,
meditate, and
brilliant. I think, in my opinion, I feel, in my opinion, if it's of any penny's worth, I feel everyone has to go through the awareness
yeah.
in their late 30s, so they look out for it, and also in full blow in that 5 years or so,
But then
so that
back
they
into if
recognize.
it was in education as well, learning all about it, then like my daughter now understands what I'm going through.
Yeah,
So
she will be a
it's
lot more aware when she
aware
comes to that
exactly.
stage.
So like all these children that are doing the sex education, they'll go, actually, my mum's going through that, or and they'll just be more understanding.
Yeah,
Whereas
I seriously, I agree with you. I can't stress more. They should, teenagers should know, so they can understand their mom
it's part of
and
life.
sisters.
Exactly, it's part of life. They learn everything in sex education. So why not learn about perimenopause?
Yeah,
Every female's going to go through it, and every male is going through it with us.
yeah, of
I,
course,
I always
yes.
laugh because I say like menopause, like put men on pause. That's what I say it in my head. That's what I say to my husband. I
But
still love
I was
you. I still love you. It's not you.
then on pause.
It's on pause.
Oh, bless you,
I've
bless
got
you.
to see the
I
later thing.
really, I've never had that much fun in the work, in any workshop. But I always, whenever, I love workshops and I love learning, but your workshop was a lot more personal
Yeah,
to me. Till the last minute, I was thinking I won't be able to make it, and then I made it. I was like, God, it's meant to be. I understood my body a lot better.
yeah. Oh,
I
that's lovely to
started
hear.
taking, even getting blankets, which are cooling blankets, if you know what I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah. And you get
to
cooling
counteract.
towels as well. So like cooling towels, if you're having a hot flush, you can get cooling towels.
Yeah, that's what it's, a cooling
Yeah,
blanket, which I, instead of duvets, started using cooling blankets during that period, and I was like, I cannot stress enough, people, if you want to really treat your women, if you're a man listening to this, treat a woman in the way she has to be treated, or even doctor, for that matter, if she is going through, at least you can understand, oh, she's going through, so you can help her
yeah,
with that as well. So please, 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 ask your wives, if you think they would want to attend these, and get that awareness, so that you can help, and it's not your fault. They are going through natural process transition, which they have to go through.
yeah.
It is hard job being a woman, and no
Oh,
one understands that.
it is. Yeah, and talk to your wife, talk to your like your daughter, or that's key is understanding communication. Um,
Communication is the key.
yeah, when I spoke to my husband and really put things out, what I was going through, showed him my daily diary. I mean, he could see, he actually knew my body better than I did, and he knew where I was in my cycle, um, which was a shock to me. But it's true, like my children, just like how I was, um, mentally in the cycle of my mum, they could tell there's this pattern. All right, okay, we'll stay out mum's way. But that's all changed now for the
Yeah,
better.
that's yeah,
Say
that's
that has
right.
all changed.
You don't have to stay away from mom's path. All you've got to do is the understanding
Yeah,
that she's going through that, and okay, that's okay, that's fine. I don't want to blow this out of proportion.
yeah.
Okay, doke. Let's go to the fun part. So, this question I ask everyone. I love this question. I was asked once, and I stole it from that person, actually. 2 o'clock in the night, or early morning. your house is on fire, and what are the three things you would take and run out?
Oh, right. Okay. Well, it have to be my wee French bulldog, Dynamo. He's number one. And then I suppose my children would be number two.
Oh, they can run.
um, what would I take that's my phone?
Oh yeah, I said that as well. I said is laptop, iPad, and phone.
Yeah, I know. Yes, it definitely would be my phone. My wee French bulldog, Dynamo.
Oh yeah, that needs hand. Yes. A second question: are you a tea drinker or a coffee drinker?
Oh, I'm a tea drinker, but a big thing like alleviating symptoms, stay away from caffeine. And I cover that in
Mhm.
the workshop. So, like, I've actually moved on to dark chocolate rather than the milk chocolate, and that's
Milk
helped as
chocolate.
well.
Okay.
So, I'm moving to decaf, but tea. I'm not coffee. So, I am a tea drinker, but I do try to, certainly, I have decaf at night to help me
Okay.
sleep.
And herbal teas as well. Like there are so many
Yes.
of them these
Uh-huh.
days.
Yeah.
And third question is a final question. Are you when you book holidays, would you prefer going countryside or city? What would be your preference?
So if it's a holiday with the children, then countryside would be lovely. But if it's just myself and Chris, my husband, then I would like a city break. Lovely. Yeah.
As that's good. Thank you. Thank you very much for coming along. And I might have think, shoot, I like, what are the questions you're asking? Yeah, but it was more what I gone through, because that's how I can link
Uh-huh.
to what I was really your workshop. I'm so grateful that menopause experts have created this awareness program of for
Yeah.
all the women,
And
as like
it's
the
fantastic
one
what
which
we do.
they're doing is unbelievable.
Yeah. And the countries that, because we have got like champions in Pakistan, India, and you've got like rural areas as well. It's completely different to
I
uh,
think it is needed in India and Pakistan, in those countries where it's all hush hush. Even today, it's all hush hush. Not many people know about it. But this time I was in India to visit my mom. I was a lot more open. My brother was there. We didn't even bother. But my mom, we had that chat of like, because she my uncle is an Ayurvedic doctor, so he had helped her with medicines, and when she was going through, um, and she was telling me about what's gone through, and she threatened me as well with a few instances of like, if you don't do it, you will suffer. I said, okay, fine. Oh, it's thank you very much. Really, thanks for
Well,
coming
thank
along.
you for
I know
having me.
I've kept you longer than I wanted, but I wanted to cover most of the question. Please do let me know where they can find your programs, and I will put your details in the
I'll share that with
description.
you. You can also, I can share a code so you can get like the magazine. You can download it for free. So I
Yes,
can share that with.
yeah, that's beautiful. Yeah, it's online magazine, isn't it? It's
It's online magazine. You can download it, but yeah, fantastic
really.
magazine.
Yeah,
Really.
it is a very good magazine. Yeah, that's where Satwinder Singh is highlighted. They've got him as one of the man
Yeah.
championing menopause. Oh, that's good. That's great. Thank you very much. Really appreciate your help. And to you lot, please listen to this and also get in touch with Avril or menopause experts in general, and get that awareness of what this is all about. And if you're a corporate or a business, you want Avril to come and speak to you or to your employees, or this could be as part of Women's Week or something like that, where you can highlight this and support your female employees. They will feel valued when you do that. That's all I've got to share with you today. And next week I'll come up with another expert to share her expertise. And this podcast or videocast is all about highlighting women entrepreneurs and also helping other women entrepreneurs um, be more successful in their entrepreneurial journey, not feel stifled that they cannot expand themselves. Until I meet you next, be happy, be safe, and be I can't say what I wanted to say, but enjoy your life as you wanted to. Thank you very much, and I always mark up the outro part. But thank you very much for listening to me, and give me some outro. What I should be saying, I need to write it down, maybe. Anyway, thank you very much. Have a nice day. Bye for now.